Thought I'd make another tape to tell you what the murderers in Tacoma and around Pittsburgh are doing. It's pointless to argue with me that population control of the genocidal direction was right and necessary because I went to a Pittsburgh public school and I know for a fact that the administration lied about what they were doing in terms of human trafficking for an overall federal control system that was taxing and taxing and spending for nothing but nuclear bombs while enjoying their recreational pleasures. They made no attempt to teach ecology. They made no attempt to teach um, conservation. They were too busy with their war in Vietnam to bother with the niceties of um, public safety. The police just told the people in the bar who were torturing children, trafficking children, you've been reported. That's how they do it. The police used to get drunk and sell drugs from the police cars. I witnessed this. You're supposed to say that you did everything you could to save John Lennon when John Lennon pulled a Houdini. That's the whole point. So the Licky Chops in Seattle have a feedback loop, they call it. And they have no intention of ever paying a person who worked as hard as me for public safety, ever. The union has closed ranks. They wouldn't even teach me sign language. They're signifiers all over. They raped the girl who taught me sign language. She opposed them by teaching me sign language. She has Down syndrome. She didn't oppose anybody. She saw them for the liars that they are and taught me sign language. So there's signifiers all over Tacoma. Although I'm going to tell you what the Green Party's up to in Seattle. They hide behind little girls and Black Panthers. I'll tell you what these Donahues are up to. There's signifiers all over Tacoma that this gang here in Tacoma, the 63 Fast Code, the 1020 Savage, the 1122 Highland Park, the Qua Bank, or whatever it is, that they murdered the Kennedys and released AIDS in a Licky Chops quorum operation that they call feedback loop to technologically detected pornographic adult Playboy images. So they say that the sinner should pay for the sin, and the sin is detected, and it's piracy to borrow their images and all of this stuff. And it traces back to the Carousel Club routine with Jack Ruby's when the Capitol Records were in Dallas, Texas, and they killed JFK to depict him as not going to get away with sleeping with girls. So we need to look at our culture. There's a difference between homegirl and attack prostitutes. I mean, obviously not in the minds of Vince Irene and Donald Trump, who hire little girls and attack prostitutes and batter children into Christian trafficking divisions. They don't believe in homegirls. In other words, when you meet a girl who's mature and adult and your age and you're 18, 19, 20, working as a waiter, a dishwasher, a cook, or on a mechanic, and you decide to get to know each other through college and shack up in Newtown and get jobs and look after each other and maybe have a kid, you're doing something that's morally wrong, and you should pay all your money to the Black Panthers food kitchen because of the because this German allegiance of Adolf Hitler has told them that you are to blame for the slavery, and so you owe them everything that you work very hard for, and this is how they loot your pockets. Now, what they really do is the girl turns out to be an attack prostitute who was hired by Penis Gabriel to throw a tomato in your face because they want to use your persona as a siphon for the Adolf Hitler Food Kitchen. And everybody knows when we have problems in distribution of food because of tax and spend warfare, gluttony. As the AOC has pointed out, they just suck the money into nuclear bombs because the revenue from killing people is so licky chops. So they get people like Hop Kendricks to go after a little boy like Jimmy Creary. And this is they say is justice in a feedback loop. And that's what they're really doing. That's what they're really doing. That's the reality of it. That's what they're really doing. They murdered people in snuff films in cold blood and made pornographic genocide films. And they circulated. Sean Schulman was stealing from the museums and selling these things to Sotheby's or something. And it's organized openly by the Croquet Register Corona and Paul McCartney. It's openly operated by the British. You know, Revolution Number Nine opened with back in the USSR. Who knows who all in Russia is involved in the underworld in Tacoma? I found a card in Religion in the Soviet Union from 1974, signed out by D.D. and Mark Wagner. Isn't that the name of the elite troops that everybody says is so criminal? I don't know whether they're criminal. They might be the people who are the most intellectual of the bunch, but I doubt it from what I've seen. They go out and they say, if you so much as St. Paul in the night, thou shalt surely slay thyself. Paul said, if it happens in the night, you go out and you bathe in the morning and do your 40 ministrations, not Wagner. No, thou shalt surely slay thyself. So we know that the Lakey Chops corn from the Black Panther movement, Lakey Chops, they after the money for then they can get Mark Wagner after.